Hey there, swimmers! Welcome to this bonus episode of Swimming on 216, proudly brought to you by Kiro. I'm your host, Emma Prinsloo, and I have had such a blast putting together this week's episode just for you. Last weekend, I was at the South African National Schools Championships in Bloemfontein, and I'm here to report back on all of the highlights and the action. But before that, we have a very, very special guest joining us on today's episode. Let's see if you can guess who it is. Our guest is a tuck swimmer who attended the SuperSport High School. Her favorite color is pink, and this one should give it away. She is South Africa's most decorated Olympian in history with 4 Olympic medals. Did you guess correctly? Our very special guest for today's episode is none other than South Africa's golden girl, Tatiana Smith. Tatsi, a very warm welcome to Swimming on 216. Does it feel so strange to hear yourself referred to as the golden girl, or do you think it will ever sink in?
No, it is but it's like a bittersweet relationship. I think it's awesome to have like this nickname that South Africa has given me, but it comes with a lot of pressure because it's a certain color of the medal, so it's golden. So now it's like I can't go bronze or finals, or so it did add a lot of pressure, but yeah. It was still cool, to be able to have this nickname.
Well, knowing you as a person, it's not just because of your performances in the pool. You're definitely a golden friend and a golden girl. But I mean, we can see why you were nicknamed the golden girl. Your medal count across the board has just been phenomenal. You've represented South Africa so well. Looking back on your incredible career, is there any one moment in the pool that really stands out for you?
I think you would assume that it was probably that moment of winning, but really for me it wasn't. It was really like the journey building up to it. Mm-hmm. I think it's the small moments in the training pool where you push your limits, or the moments where you want to give up but you still pitch up to the training pool. So I really think it was in that part that really, there was not one specific moment, but it was a journey of it to create that special moment of winning. But for me, those memories are the ones I treasure the most, and the ones I miss the most of being there, giving my best, even though maybe I arrived at training and I only had 80%, just pushing that away and saying let's just give 100% of the 80 that I've got. So yeah, those were special moments. Yeah.
Being proud of the process. Exactly, I think that's really, really important, and that it's not just standing on the podium, but it's all those little moments to get there.
No, exactly.
And looking back on your very earlier stages of your swimming career, going back to school days now, you matriculated from SuperSport High School. What was the scene like for your swimming in those days? Did you play other sports? What was the sort of schedule like when you swam at school level?
Yeah, so I only joined the SuperSport school in grade 9, so when I was 15, and before then I was obviously doing all the other school sports and only swimming 3 times a week.
Okay.
Then I went to the tucks for swimming, just purely because my parents were working in 8 to 5, so the schools that I was in didn't have swimming as a sport, so it was a club sport.
Okay.
So my parents had to take me to training all the time, and they just couldn't balance that schedule. And it wasn't like I was swimming amazing times. I wasn't winning any junior, it was just like a sport that could potentially go into the Olympics, I think, because netball's not at the Olympics yet. So it was just something let's just see how it goes. And then I joined there, and that's when my training kind of changed to the program that I was at before Paris, and that was, I think the transition was 10 sessions a week.
Sure, from 3 till 10.
Yeah. Trust me, I cried every day. Rocco even called my dad once and said no, she wants to go home, this is too much. Especially because it wasn't something I chose. I didn't really want to swim, I just wanted to be around my friends and play netball. But I also couldn't see what they saw, and I think once you started realizing you were actually getting better by putting a bit more time into it, that's kind of when I was like, okay, maybe this could work.
That's so awesome, and I think it's grateful for some of our young swimmers to hear that it started a little bit later, and it's never too late to really get into the sport that you end up loving.
No, exactly.
And you also mentioned that one of the only junior trips that you've been on was the Junior African Championships.
Yeah.
And that's coming up, this year's edition is coming up at the end of this month in Cairo, which we're very excited for.
Cool.
We've also got South African Junior Nationals coming up, which I will be at. I'm so excited to cheer everyone on.
Yeah.
But for these younger swimmers that are coming through in the age group levels, do you have any advice or any tips that you would want to share with them?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I only made one junior team ever, and it was an African tour. And it was just so nice to be part of Team SA. I think we're always seen as an individual sport, but we love being part of a team. So for me, I would really say just enjoy those moments. Enjoy being a junior in these teams, because there isn't a lot of pressure yet. Once you've come to the senior level, you go to Olympics, the pressure builds more onto your performance. But I think the beauty of swimming is that we swim for a specific time. So if you swim a time, you make the team. Obviously, there are the financial sides and stuff to it that could maybe restrict you from going, but that's what it's about. It's just focus on your own lane, your times and stuff. Focus on your own progression, because at the end, you're improving on yourself. And wherever that leads, whether it is Olympics or not Olympics, like, that's amazing, because you couldn't have done better for yourself. So enjoy the moments, have fun now, before it gets too serious and before it becomes a job.
That's so true. And I think it's important for the younger swimmers to build that passion for the sport, because you can't get to those later stages when you want to represent your country. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and if you haven't built that love for the sport, it's so difficult to keep going with it, because it really is a demanding sport.
Exactly.
But I agree, those African trips were so much fun.
Amazing.
We really bonded with the teams.
It's a whole different environment, and you almost feel like you're not going to survive. But it's something that when we get back, we're like, do you remember how we had to like eat off the tray? Or like, do you remember when we had to eat in a little cup of future life? Like, so it really just brings you together, and you actually realize how blessed we are as South Africa as well. We don't have the facilities that America has. We're always comparing ourselves. We're always thinking we are less able to achieve the things that they can. And I think it's when we go to those spaces, we realize that we actually have so much more going for us than we think. And that we should stop having this imposter syndrome of like, we can't achieve the same things. Like sitting next to the previous world record holder and stuff, to sit there and think, like, I can't slack race. Just imagine
the underdog.
Have you seen her facilities? Like, she doesn't struggle with load shedding. She doesn't have this. And immediately you fall into that, where it's like, this has actually made us like stronger people, more resilient. So why not? Why not us? Like, so I think these trips are really just to open your perspective of like how blessed we actually are, even though we don't have what we should have. But
the challenges, I think, make us stronger, and I think because we go there as a team, we definitely do bond. And I think, like you said, when we go to international competitions and we face up against some of the first world countries, it is difficult to slip into that underdog mindset and mentality. But I love what you said about like, if not us, then who? Like, we are here from Africa to represent the continent, and it's really a privilege.
Exactly, and I mean, we have a super amazing example of Kirsty Coventry, and I mean, look what she has achieved through her swimming and stuff, and she came from Africa, so we can definitely be the best in the world. We just have to believe in ourselves. So I think enjoy those moments where you get to experience something almost worse than sometimes what we have, because then it really gives you perspective of like, that we should be grateful for what we do have.
And speaking of Kirsty Coventry, the newly elected IOC president, cool. So amazing. But just the Olympic spirit in general, for yourself personally, when did you start sort of dreaming of becoming an Olympian?
I think, well, I wouldn't speak on everyone's behalf, but I think a lot of kids that do join sport and want to pursue sports, I think you obviously that ultimate goal is maybe one day going to the Olympics and stuff, so you always work towards it. But I think when it only like came to realization is once I only swam the times.
Okay.
I think for me, it wasn't to put my hopes up on something, and then when I don't make it, I feel like I'm not a successful swimmer. Like, Olympics shouldn't define me as being successful or not in my swimming career. So I think once I only swam those times, I was like, okay, now I can dream with and have this dream and go for it. You always work towards it, but I think it shouldn't define whether you're a successful swimmer. And my little notes.
Please. I'm so excited for you to share this with our viewers.
Yeah, so this was crazy. I just did a bit of research of what is actually the percentage of swimmers, or not swimmers, of athletes going to the Olympics. And just for the Paris Olympics alone, this is your percentage or your chance of actually making
I think we need to
the Paris. So it's 0.0000131% of actually being at Paris as an athlete. So for me, that's insane. I think it just really shows that I'm not here to break anyone down and say you're not going to 100% go for it. If that's a goal, try and dream for it. But if you don't make it, don't let that define your success as a swimmer. You are still super successful in reaching those daily goals, challenging yourself, pushing your limits, building character, learning how to work with a team, but also as an individual. So yeah, that was kind of just a word of encouragement, is that yes, dream big, but also don't allow that dream to define what you see as you being the best version of yourself.
That truly is mind-blowing fact. I mean, that percentage is just absolutely unbelievable.
No.
But for me, okay, and I know you might get embarrassed by this, but I have to just prop you up, okay? From that percentage to then go on to win gold. I'm just going to leave it at that, because I think everybody knows that is just absolutely unbelievable.
No, I think for myself, even every time I think back, I remember driving home, then I'm it's so random, this random girl from Roodepoort, in South Africa. People don't even sometimes know where South Africa is, never mind where Roodepoort is. So it's just mind-blowing. I can't say I did XYZ, this is how you're going to make it. It really just happened. And I think that's the thing of it, is you don't know if it's going to happen to you. We don't have a guaranteed recipe, otherwise we would all be Olympians and all winning gold medals. So I think it is really just defining your purpose in swimming, and what is your reason for swimming, because I had a bigger reason than just winning a medal. I had the reason, it became later, one of the reasons is just to prove that we can do it in South Africa. We don't have to feel the only way to grow in ourselves and as swimmers, we need to leave the country. We always think it's better on the other side, but what they always say, the grass is green on it, it's greener where you water it. So it can work in South Africa. And if you do have a dream to go overseas, that's amazing. That's not what I'm saying, don't do it. It's saying if you prefer being at home, being amongst your people. I love being around family. I love being around South Africans and friends, and that made me a better version of myself in the pool. So yeah, establish what makes you the better version of yourself, and then you're happy either way, wherever the results go.
I really love that. I think it's so true. And I think every swimmer is different, but one thing that's for sure is don't ever think that you can't do it here.
No, definitely.
And you are testament to that, which is awesome. When you touched the wall in Tokyo, can you remember the first thing that popped into your head when you realized that you had actually won?
No, I honestly, it's such a surreal moment. It's so much bigger than you can ever dream of. So I think really for me in that moment was just if it wasn't for God, there's no way. We all work equally hard, everyone in that pool. I don't feel ever that I've worked harder than someone else. I feel everyone has put in as much as they thought is the hardest that they could have done. And we're almost all equal in that lane. So I really always say, if you have a lane, you have a chance. And that day I was the best. Asked me if I would have been the best 2 days later, probably not. Someone else would have won it. And that's amazing for that moment and that day only. I just happened to have the best race amongst everyone. So yeah, it was, I still can't, every time I see it, it's yeah, no, that doesn't.
So surreal, so surreal to actually watch it. And that was surely one of the highlights of being, part of your swimming journey. But we know that as a professional athlete, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very arduous journey. It goes through peaks and valleys. I think a lot of swimmers would love to know, when you do face those mental lows, what are some things that help you?
Yeah, I think holding on to your why. I think understanding what your why is, what drives this passion of swimming. Like for me, it was always purpose drove the passion. In the beginning as a youngster, it was definitely my achievements, but that doesn't last and that's not sustainable. So purpose was definitely, I just knew, like, going out there, I just wanted to use my talents to glorify God, and not by winning a medal. That doesn't do that. It's by giving your best. So every race I went in, I gave my absolute best. I know my parents and my support team would have been proud, even if I did come last, because they know my personality as well. Is I just give 100%. Like every time I go in there, even if I'm feeling terrible and I swim a sucky time, it's okay. I gave everything I had, and I think that was the beauty of like coming second at the Olympics in the main event that I trained for. Like, yes, it was amazing winning gold for the 100, but that wasn't something I was preparing myself for the 200. But coming second was because I know I absolutely gave everything, and then you can celebrate the person next to you and allow them to like have that experience, because it is such an incredible experience to have, and you want to support that person. And I knew, like, I gave everything on that table. So if that meant I came second or didn't make the finals, then I would have been very happy. So
that's incredible.
Yeah.
So, and I know you always give 100%. I mean, I think that also helps with the mental side of things, just knowing that even though the tough times, you give 100%, and in the highs you give 100%.
Yeah, and I think it's also surrounding yourself with the right people in those times, because there are times that you can't pick up yourself, and that's why I'm always grateful for friends and family, because they sometimes dream for me. Like when I'm giving up on my dream, they just like support me in like just reminding me again why I'm doing this, because no one wants to wake up for swimming in the middle of winter to go and do a training session early morning. It's terrible. Like no one understands that. But you get yourself up because there's a bigger reason for why you're swimming, and that was my reason. So remember that why, because that's the thing that's going to drive you in the days that you can't. But then also just really relying on my faith, because I honestly wouldn't have been able to like handle everything that came with it if it was on my own strength.
It's such a pillar of strength, like you said. And I think as teammates, we've also walked through the highs and lows, not only in the emotional and the mental side of things, but I know, you know, from just being on teams with you and training alongside you, that there've also been a few physical injuries and niggles that have popped up along the way, which is never easy for any athlete. It's really a horrible thing to happen, but it happens to age group athletes as well, all the way through. So what are some things that helped you as well with some of the physical niggles that maybe have popped up?
Well, actually, before like Olympic trials for Paris, I hurt my groin, and the doctors recommended that I did not swim. But I was feeling okay, and I said to them, I know myself, I won't push myself. I can make that promise. And I think that's the thing. There is a process of recovery, and I don't take shortcuts in that process. Like, yes, you can recover faster. I think in general, as like being athletes and being healthy, we could recover much faster than maybe other people.
We should.
So the process is going to be faster, a little bit faster, but don't take shortcuts, and take the time to really get back, because you don't want to make a shortcut and then it like kills you in the long run. So yes, the doctor maybe said, and I said, don't worry, like as soon as I feel it, I will scratch the gala. So that was my idea going into nationals. Didn't have any expectations of my swimming. I just wanted to be behind the blocks, because I didn't want to go from nothing to the Olympics. So it was still finding a middle ground, but not pushing myself. And I think, those moments are where it just really, you have to put aside your emotions, and the idea of swimming is always like, oh, we're missing out, or I'm falling behind and stuff, but it's actually going to excel you further. So I think we think it holds us back, but it's actually going to push us further. I think it's just, and for me at nationals is like even though some of the times I didn't swim PBs and stuff, I will never use my injury as an excuse. Like, you give your best at that point and how your body is at that point. If I'm injured, like, that's the only thing I could have given you. So I think it's always like having that mental shift. You need to be aware of how you're thinking towards your injury. I think if you always like stressed and worried, you're also prolonging it.
Yes.
Be positive, do the things that need to be done, just like focus on that journey of recovery.
Yeah, just make sure that, like you said, you're not getting back too soon and then causing yourself further detriment in the long run.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that all of that recovery paid off for you, even though it was such a stressful time. And then you went to the Olympics, you did your thing, and you decided to retire from competing. How did you make that decision? And now the Tatjana that's outside of the pool, what are you up to and what do you really enjoy spending your time doing?
The decision was kind of, we all start coming to that like part where we're facing like when is the right time to make that decision. I knew I wasn't going to go to the next Olympics, but I thought I was probably going to go to the World Champs coming up and still swim. But I think I had just a conviction in my heart during Paris is like, what was the reason for me to continue? And it would purely be financially. Like we know with swimming, we don't have salaries, we don't get paid. So you have sponsors that now I can finally like pay for myself and my parents since like the year after Tokyo. That's the only time I could actually afford being on my own. So you have that pressure of like financially supporting, and like if I stop swimming, then I don't have an income anymore. And I only had like 3 years to make something. So it was really purely like I would be continuing to like get money out of it to like make some living. But initially, like I never started swimming for the money. So for me, it was just like I wouldn't be true to myself. I wouldn't be true to anyone watching me swim, because I know I would have purely carried on just to try and get as like much income as possible.
And it would have been a job. It would
have taken out the joy, and then you don't actually want to arrive at training, and then your results will start showing it because you're not enjoying it as much anymore. So to be true to myself, I decided that
it was time.
Yeah, it was time, and if everyone drops me, it would be okay. Like because I knew I gave everything, I achieved way more than I ever thought in swimming. So I was already grateful for where I was, and to carry on just for I have to start a new career then and make it in a different way.
Now starting a new chapter.
Yeah, exactly.
Now. So what does that look like for you? What are you up to? What do you really enjoy doing? I know a few things already, but share it with our viewers.
Yeah, I think it's the small things at the moment. It's taking it day by day. It's a massive change in your life, and this is something you committed to for so long, and it became part of you. It's that routine, and I think that's what I miss the most is the routine of it. Like nothing in my day looks the same anymore, and that like throws me off guard where you knew like the training time. So it's finding the small joys in every day. So I enjoy being active, so I start running. My legs don't enjoy that because I haven't run when I was swimming, so my legs are in pain. No, I'm joking. But yeah, it's the small things, going for coffees, spending time with family, just recharging and healing, because it is a mourning process. Like it was a big part of my life, and I can't, even though it was never who I was and just what I did, it's the same as moving houses or stuff. It has a massive impact, and you can't like deny it. So it is just dealing with it every day and going with the flow and taking the emotion. If I cry, I cry. If I don't, and I'm feeling good for the day, then I go with that, and I don't break myself down for that. So yeah, I think it's just finding those small pockets of joy.
And giving yourself grace.
Definitely.
Also retiring last year, I can completely relate. And I think you worded that so beautifully. I'm not even going to try and add to it. But also so excited to see what this new chapter holds for you. Thank you for still being such an inspiration to South African swimming. I was recently at the SA Schools Championships, and I got to speak to some of the swimmers, and I asked them, if they had the chance to sit down with Tatiana Smith and ask one question, what would it be? So we're going to play a few of those questions for you, and I'm sure they're going to be so thrilled that you're answering them for them. So let's roll the first video. I'm interviewing Richard Skuman, who has been excelling here at the SA Schools for Team Gauteng. Richard, well done on all your swims, first of all. Second of all, if you had a chance to talk to Tatiana Smith and ask her one question, what would it be?
I would ask her, how do you stay in the racing mode and switch on before a race?
Great question. Can't wait for her to answer it for you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, for me personally, I always enjoyed listening to worship music. So find something that like makes you calm, that you're not overthinking the race. You've done the work. When you're at the race, it's just, that's the fun part. That's where you enjoy all the work that you put in. Now you just have fun. So try and get yourself something that it just takes your mind off it, makes you calm. And for me, it was always worship music or having verses in my mind that I just always repeated because that was the reason I wanted to swim. And so, I think finding those things that work for you. And if this works for you, then awesome. I love for you to try it. But it's always, I think there's so many different advices we can give someone. And I will never push down my advice in someone's throat because that's worked for me because I'm Tatjana. So find what works, bring the you in that. So whatever.
Brilliant. That's awesome. I definitely think it is an individual experience, but it's great to hear what you were doing behind the blocks.
Yeah.
Let's listen to our next question.
So I'm excited to ask you, if you had the chance to sit down with Tatiana Smith, what would be one question you'd love to ask her?
I would probably ask her what was her sacrifices.
So what kind of sacrifices she made to become the swimmer that she is today?
Yes.
I'm excited to hear this answer.
Oh, so many. No, I'm joking. I think it's so hard because sacrifice has like almost like a negative connotation to it. But if you're doing what you love every day, it's worth it. But there was definitely moments, I think, as a student and as a scholar, like you don't have that friends time anymore. You don't have student life. It's those small things that you don't have family holidays because you're always swimming, as we know, we're always swimming. You can't go anywhere because there's not a pool, so you can't leave. So it's those small things, and that's why I'm always grateful for the family buying into the dream, because without them, buying into it, they also missed out on those moments. But at the end of it, we knew that we gave 100% in what it was, and that's my type of 100% is sacrificing those things. To try and get to.
I always like to phrase it as what is the priority, not really what is the sacrifice.
No,
because you always have to choose.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what I feel like we always, the hard part is risking it all and not getting almost the achievement behind it. But is that still going to be worth it? Because to have your leg 50% here and 50% here, we can't expect 100% results. So you have to commit to something and make that decision, and it's a risk.
Yeah.
And that's what we're afraid of. We're afraid to take that risk because we're afraid we're going to fail. But will it really look like a failure if you've given everything? Because then you can actually step back and say, I've given it everything, it didn't work, let's try the next one. But if you didn't, you're always going to wonder, what if? And I never wanted to live with what if.
I love that. Let's have a look at our next question.
So, Jothany, if you had one question for Tatiana Smith, what would it be?
I would ask her how much she trains in 1 week and the technique she uses for how to get good stroke correction.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So your training schedule.
Yeah, my training schedule, we trained about 8 swimming sessions a week, and then 2 gym sessions. Each swimming session would probably be around between, let's say, 5 and 6.5 Ks, so 2-hour sessions almost, and then the gym would be an hour gym every week. So that was just the build up. Also, when I was getting older, maybe some weeks were 7, because you don't recover as fast.
But it's still a lot.
No,
there's a lot that goes into it, and then all the recovery that also has to take place.
No, that's exactly. That's just on pool deck. So you're almost 6 hours of your day you're on pool. But then outside of the pool, you're trying to get as much recovery, trying to eat right, so there's so much, it's it is a job. Everything revolves around being the best version and being ready for the training session.
Yeah.
And then I would say for technique wise is learn. I was always willing to learn from the best, watch videos, see what others do. If I see someone does with breaststroke, you do the pull outs either with the fly kick together or separate. And I always did it together. And then one day I started seeing everyone's underwaters that was separate. I was like, oh, I didn't know this. So then I go to training, I try it out, I time myself to see, is it faster for me? Yeah. And I realized even though I came out early, further, my time at 15 was slower. So then I was like, okay, well then it doesn't work for me. It looks amazing because I'm coming out further, but I'm actually faster on water. So figure out what works best for yourself. Be open to changing and adapting to it. Try new things. Try to see if that is faster. And I think for me, I always, like even before nationals, I was changing my stroke to see if it was a faster type of way of swimming, because we always want to work on the small things, but if we're stubborn and we think that our way is the only way, then we're never going to grow, because there are things that people do that actually could help us improve our own stroke. So yeah, figure out like that stroke, and that's the fun process, is figuring out what makes you faster and what makes you the best version. Yeah.
Let's have a look at our next question.
If you had one question for Olympic gold medalist Tatiana Smith, what would it be?
How to improve my breaststroke, starts, turns and glide.
Okay, excellent question. And yourself, if you got to sit across from our greatest Olympian of all time, what would your question be for her?
Where does her motivation and dedication come from?
Awesome questions. Tati, over to you.
Yeah, I think I'll just go take it back to, again, just that why. That's the thing that motivates me. You want to be part of Team SA, you want to make that team, you want to be part of the group, but don't neglect the smaller group, is your training buddies. Without them and that team and like learning how to work in those dynamics, like I don't think I would have been able to achieve anything, because if anyone has to think of doing a set by themselves, it feels like torture. So doing it with a team that all like work for a similar goal, but it's individual goals, it's such a cool environment to be in. So
Definitely. It's definitely a team sport.
No,
I mean, it's not an
definitely.
individual sport.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at our last question.
So, if you had the chance to sit down with Tatiana Smith and ask one question, what would it be?
How important is the role that your family and parents play in your sport and motivating you to do what you do?
That is such a beautiful question. I can't wait to hear how she answers this one.
That is a beautiful question. They play the biggest role. They are literally the reason that I am sitting here and achieved anything I have. Like I said, they're the ones that buy into the dream with you, but never put that pressure. I think I actually recently asked my dad, like, how was he I don't remember him ever hyping me up for Olympics and stuff. And he was never like, if I swam bad times, it was fine. He never got angry because he could see I tried. There was one time that I clearly remember, like I was just over it, just like my backstroke in the IM, and he was standing next to the pool, and I've never seen him so angry. And what he told me at the end is like, he just wants me to give my best, and that's all he cares about, doesn't matter what. And that's the type of support. There's no support with pressure. It's just genuinely supporting you and wanting the best for you, and seeing you grow. I think that makes them proud. So they were definitely the main reason for my whole career.
That's so beautiful. 100% agree with everything that you said. Tati, it's been amazing having you here on Swimming on 216. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks
and thank
for
you.
having me,
We hope to have you back soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
But thank you again for inspiring the next generation of South African swimmers, and for leading and inspiring South Africans everywhere, not just in the pool. It's great. We are going to be right back after this short break to dive into more of the SA Schools action. I can't wait for you to see this, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Swimming on 216. Now, I promised you all of the action from this year's SA Schools Championships in Bloemfontein, and here it is. Are you ready? Let's dive in. The 2025 SA Schools Championships had it all. An incredible opening ceremony to welcome swimmers from all 9 South African provinces, huge team spirit on the grandstands, flooding after experiencing all 4 seasons in one day, a rap performance from Team Gauteng, and of course, some very speedy swimming. Able-bodied and para swimmers from all corners of our country were warmly welcomed by the Free State, who were fantastic hosts at Bloemfontein Stadium swimming pool. This pool has a legacy of producing top talent, thanks to esteemed coaches like Simon Gray.
It's my absolute privilege now to be joined by Simon Gray, an esteemed South African swimmer and coach who has given so much to the swimming community and has spent so many years right here at this very pool coaching some of the great South African swimmers that we've seen. Simon, is it awesome to be back here at Stadium Swimming Pool and seeing the SA Schools taking place this year?
Yeah, it's amazing. It was a privilege of the Free State to get this SA Schools. We haven't had it for a long time, but I would like to say congratulations to the municipality of upgrading this pool the last few weeks to make sure it's up to standard for a national event.
It really is looking fantastic. Despite the crazy weather that we've had, these swimmers are having fun, they're producing excellent results. How would you say Team Free State is doing?
As a small province, we're doing very well. We've won a lot of gold, silver, bronze medals, a lot of PBs, and most of my top swimmers, I haven't really swum in this gala because of SA and J's, but a lot to have, and they are looking good for the 3 weeks' time.
We're very excited for lots more swimming to come. It's been excellent to be here. You yourself have grown up through the SA Schools system, racing in it when you were there. There's such a legacy. What would you say to the swimmers to motivate them on this last day?
Well, I would have liked to have said it in the beginning, but as I was going to tell all the swimmers, to me, I always teach my swimmers, and that one thing about swimming, it's a hard sport. You have to be consistent in the swimming pool if you want to be a champion. It's not a one-off whenever you feel like going. It's a hard, tough sport. That black line, you got to keep on swimming up and down that line, focusing on your technique, streamlined, stroke count, and hard work on a consistent basis, and you will get the results. But as far as I'm concerned, there are so many gold medals, so many silver, so many bronze. My philosophy in swimming is, as long as you're beating your best on a regular basis, you're a champion within yourself.
I absolutely love that, and I couldn't agree more. Consistency is such a huge role, and also just about having fun and being a champion within yourself. Simon, it's been great to chat to you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we are really excited for another excellent day of swimming on this final day of SA Schools.
Thank you very much.
We definitely saw the swimmers' hard work and consistency pay off in the pool, as well as a whole lot of fun to match. Let's hear from a few of these incredible swimmers about their experience of SA Schools.
Well, it's the very last day of the SA Schools Championships for 2025, and I'm joined now by 2 swimmers from the Northwest. Boys, can you please introduce yourselves with your names and ages?
Good morning, my name is Nathan Nteko, I'm 16 years old.
Hi, I'm Cameron Calder and I'm 16 years old.
Well, it's really great to see you guys here. We know you've had an action-packed 2 days so far of racing. I'm sure you've had a busy program. What have been your favorite races so far and how did they go? Nathan?
My favorite race this weekend was the 50 breaststroke, and I was able to make finals, but unfortunately I wasn't able to medal.
Okay, but we actually saw you racing recently at the Level 3 Championships hosted at by Tux, and you were swimming great breaststroke there. Do you have anything coming up today?
Today, unfortunately, no, I don't, but at Tux it was a very good and successful race for me.
Congratulations, that's amazing. And for yourself, what have you looked forward to? What have you been the most excited about, and how did your race go?
I was probably most excited for 100 back, and I made the final and I won gold. So I was very happy with that. And then today I have 200 back, which is my main event, so I'm looking forward for that too.
That is so exciting. We are looking out for you in the 200-meter backstroke. Good luck, boys. We know that you are traveling province, so you arrived here on a bus. How has the travel been?
No, it's been a really great experience. I've met lots of new people, and it's been nice to speak with all my teammates and have fun, yeah.
It really looks like you guys have been having a great time despite the crazy weather that we've been having. So we wish you all the best for today. Enjoy it, soak up every moment, cheer on your teammates, and we're wishing you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The KZN boys, they are very excited to be interviewed as part of SuperSport Schools on Swimming on 216. Boys, how have the races gone so far?
They haven't been too bad today. I've placed 6 for 200 meter breast, and I'm not too sure for 50 free.
And you've just been having your lunch. I'm interrupting your lunch break. What was in your packed lunches?
We had a toasted chicken and mayo sandwich. We had a muffin. We had juice. We had a jungle oat bar and chips.
Sounds pretty good to me. Definitely some energy for tonight's or this afternoon's finals. What has been your most favorite part of this SA Schools Championships?
Probably like at the hotel when we have fun and ding dong ditching them. It's just vibes at the hotel, honestly.
Sounds like they're having a blast, and so great to have the opportunity to speak to these 3 swimmers for Swimming on 216. Thank you so much, boys. I'm here with some very excited swimmers, and you might be wondering why they are wearing bibs. Girls, can you please introduce yourselves with your name and age?
My name is Sophia. I am 12 years old.
My name is Ankia and I'm 15 years old.
I'm Minke and I'm 12, but I'm turning 13 the 6th of June.
My name is Nicola. I am 11, but I'm turning 12 the 22 May.
Very exciting that you guys are here, and I believe you have a special reason why you are wearing bibs. You are representing the Northern Cape,
yes.
And so you've traveled all the way here. It's so exciting that you guys are here at the Free State. Can you tell us why you're wearing these bibs?
We are wearing it because it's our first time here and they want us to have fun.
And what happens if you take the bibs off?
They said we're going to get in trouble and maybe they will have fun stuff with us to do.
So are you girls having a fun time so far?
Yes, a lot of fun.
Have you met lots of new people and made lots of friends?
Yes, we have.
And what are you racing today?
I'm racing a relay, I think. I don't know what I'm racing.
Okay, very exciting. Well, we hope that you girls are having lots of fun. It's been an amazing time here at the SA Schools 2025, hosted by the Free State, and we can't wait for lots more incredible swimming to come today. Good luck, girls, and don't take your bibs off.
Balancing fun with fast swimming was the name of the game over the 3-day competition, with some record-breaking swims being thrown down in both the morning heats and the evening finals. With only the top 2 swimmers from each province advancing to finals, there was no room for these swimmers to take their foot off the gas in the heats. We also saw 11 new South African para records coming from swimmers such as Tianta Blanche and Maketsi Adams, as well as Nhlakanipo Mabasa and Londiwe Kumalo. Let's hear from 2 of these superstars.
One thing that is so special about this SA Schools is that we have some incredible multi-disability swimmers taking part, and we've had some new South African records broken over the first 2 days of competition. I'm here with 2 of these incredible Gauteng representatives that are swimming in the multi-class disability class, and it's so great to have both of them here for an interview. Can you please introduce yourselves with your name and your age?
I'm Nhlakanipo Mabasa. I'm 12 years old, turning 13 next month.
I'm Londiwe Kumalo. I'm 13 years old, turning 14 on December.
Well, we hope you are having so much fun here at the SA Schools Championships, and not just having fun, but also breaking records. New South African records set in your classifications. Can you tell us which events they were for?
It was the 100 back.
100 back.
100 backstroke, and they are absolute trailblazers for Gauteng. Are you competing today? What races are you most looking forward to?
The 53, because I'm gonna compete with my friends.
Awesome.
50 back because I've been trying to decrease my time. I think this is the opportunity.
It's definitely the opportunity to set those new PBs, and possibly we're going to see some new records. I love that you said the 50 freestyle because that was my favorite event. So good luck today, guys. I'm wishing you all the best, and we were cheering you on live on SuperSport today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well done to these amazing swimmers.
We also watched Isabeau Coetzee, the 13-year-old champion from Western Cape, smash 2 records in one day in the 12 to 13 50-meter backstroke.
We look at those entry times, the 31.13, well ahead of the second seeded 34.42. So if she can replicate it, we might see another record tonight, depending on if she can just stay straight in that lane, if she's not too fatigued. Absolutely phenomenal swimming from Isabeau Coetzee, already making her mark. And now coming into the final stretch, about more than a body length ahead of her competitors, 2 body lengths. Look at this lead, that is exceptional swimming. Wow, absolutely brilliant. 31.12, 1 split second, a new record. Congratulations, Isabeau Coetzee from the Western Cape.
Hi, my name is Isabeau Coetzee and I'm 13 years old and I'm representing the Western Cape.
Well done on your 50-meter backstroke, Isabeau. You broke the record for your age group. Can you tell us your time in the heat and time in the final for the 50-meter backstroke?
My time in the heat was 31.13 and my final time was 31.12.
Congratulations, awesome swimming. How did you feel in those races? Did you think you were going to break the record?
I was strong at the start and I wanted to break the record because I knew what the time was and I went for it.
Well done. Well, it all paid off. We're so proud of you. Congratulations on that great swim.
Thank you.
In the end, it was Gauteng who won the overall points for the provinces, ahead of KwaZulu-Natal and Western Cape. And trophies were also handed out to our top performing swimmers. Leon Coetzee was the top para swimming performer from the men's side, with Josephine Endres taking the top achiever for the female para swimmers. Top performers trophies for the able-bodied swimmers went to Janku Grobbelaar and Monique Oosthuizen for the highest World Aquatics points scored. And Janku Grobbelaar and Leila Yazbek were awarded Senior Victor and Victrix Ludorum trophies for 2025. With the Junior Victor and Victrix Ludorum trophies going to Noah Nice and Isabeau Coetzee. A huge congratulations to all of the amazing swimmers who took part in this year's SA Schools event. Such a great collaboration between the Department of Basic Education and the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. We are so excited to see some of those superstars in action again at the end of the month at SA Junior Nationals. I'll be recapping all of those highlights in our second bonus episode, which will be brought to you on the 4th of May, right here on SuperSport Schools Channel 216. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Swimming on 216 in partnership with Curo, and I can't wait to see you again in May.